What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, your home for the 2020 World Series champion Los Angeles Dodgers. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined as always this weekend by Rob Morse, ready to preview the Dodgers versus the Giants. And Rob, it's a fun one on tap. I was joking last night with Daniel. This series has not meant much in a long time, and now here we are. It is just May, but the Giants have the best record in baseball, the best record in the National League. Obviously, Dodgers have the third best record in the National League, and yet are in third place in the division. So I'll open with this. How important is this series? I know it's May. It's not even the end of May, but should the Dodgers care a little bit extra for this one?
It's always a big deal when the Giants and Dodgers get together. And yeah, it means more than it has in previous years. The Giants have come out of nowhere to take baseball's best record. I don't think anyone had them, being in the top two in the division at this point.
Yeah.
Um, that said, there aren't really many statement games in a 162 game season. So I think the talking points for all the players is going to be it's just another game, but there might be a little bit of added motivation, and you got fans in the ballpark again. So hopefully, the Dodgers players will be razzed a little bit. I mean, maybe not as much as they're in their next series in Houston, but yeah, there will be a little bit of extra heat on this one.
Yeah, so Dodgers play the Giants 7 of their next 9. As you said, they have a 2-game set in Houston, full capacity crowd, so that should be a fun one. But let's look big picture at this series. Giants, for those that haven't been tracking closely, 28 and 16, best record in baseball. They've won 8 of their last 10. They just swept the Reds, who were the best offense in baseball coming into the series, and held them to just 9 runs in 4 games. If you're looking kind of at betting trends, the Giants are 14 and 4 at home. Dodgers are just 10 and 12 on the road. And then the under probably, Giants have gone under 2 of their last 3, Dodgers 5 of their last 6. But what's funny for me is as I dove into the numbers of who the Giants are, who the Dodgers are, I can see why the Giants are good, but I'm a bit confused as to how they're this good. When you look at starting pitching, we're talking about the 2 best rotations in baseball right now. The Giants are first in ERA. The Dodgers are third in ERA. When you're talking about the bullpen, though, is where things start to go different directions. The Dodgers, 6th in bullpen ERA. The Giants, 20th. They are worst in all of baseball in wins above replacement from relief pitchers. So there could be an advantage there. And then when you get to offense, you think, well, maybe that's where the Giants kind of win some of the back. No, the Dodgers are better in every offensive category than the Giants. The Dodgers are 8th in average. Giants are 25th. Dodgers are 1st in on base. Giants are 11th. Dodgers are 10th in slugging. Giants are 11th. So Dodgers are third in major leagues in runs per game. The Giants are just 15th. So when I look big picture at this, I mean, even with the injuries, the Dodgers obviously missing all their guys. The Giants without Logan Webb, Wilmer Flores, and Brandon Belt is day-to-day but hasn't played since Sunday. Even with the injuries, I think talent-wise, the Dodgers don't look across and see a more talented team, and yet somehow the Giants are patching it together and winning a bunch of games this season.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants have probably benefited from playing a lot of, easier teams to this point. I mean, the NL doesn't have a lot of landmines, but the Giants are taking care of business. They're
Yeah.
6-1 against the Reds. They're 6-3 against the Rockies. They swept Texas in their 2-game set. They're taking care of business against some bad teams. They haven't really played anyone good yet, except for, a couple series against the Padres. I think when you look at the Giants and you see these familiar names from the past 5 years who really haven't been hitting much. I know Belt has had a couple months here and there, but all of a sudden Brandon Crawford looks like Barry Bonds over the last 3 weeks.
In more ways than one,
Um,
potentially, a Barry Bonds reference there.
yeah, I mean, he's over his last 17 games, he's hitting 352 with 8 homers, 20 RBI, and a 1.261 OPS. That's most homers and RBI in the NL over that span. But really, it's the pitching. And unfortunately for the Dodgers, they're going to see 2 of the Giants' 3 best starters in the series with Wood tonight and DeSclafani on Sunday. But yeah, on paper, the Giants don't look as good statistically as the Dodgers do, but they've been getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get into tonight's game. As you said, Trevor Bauer is on the mound for the Dodgers facing old friend Alex Wood, who the Dodgers basically made no effort to bring back and who has been fantastic. Alex Wood in 6 starts, 2 earned runs or fewer in all 6. He's striking out a guy per inning, averaging about 6 innings pitched. He's slightly better at home than he is on the road, so that's worth keeping in mind. But 1.75 ERA, 0.94 walks and hits per inning pitch. if you want to make an argument against Alex Wood, I think I would say this. He's played the Marlins twice. He's played the Rangers, the Pirates, and then the Rockies twice. So 4 of his 6 starts have been against some of the bottom 10 offenses in all of baseball. And then of the other 2 against Colorado, one was in Colorado. That was his worst start of the year, and the other was in San Francisco. So that's the argument there. On the flip side, the Dodgers don't hit lefties. They're 22nd in baseball in weighted runs created against left-handed pitchers. So I've got some interesting bets I like in this one. But as you look at the spread, Dodgers plus 135 if you want to go minus 1.5. They're minus 132 on the money line. And then the total of 7 is minus 110 on both sides. Anything when you look at that jumps out at you?
Yeah, I think Alex Wood, you can kind of break it down into, his entire career, you can break down into when he's healthy, he pitches pretty well.
Yeah.
And when he's not healthy, he either doesn't pitch or he pitches through injury and he pitches poorly. And right now he's clearly healthy, looking like his 2017 self when he made the All-Star team in Dodger blue. And Bauer has been incredible over the past month. So I'm actually going to be on the under 7 for tonight's game. I think the Giants offense has been capitalizing on some less than good opposing pitching, particularly yesterday when they put up 19 runs. But now that they're facing Trevor Bauer, the reigning Cy Young winner, I think that offense is a little bit quieter. And I trust Alex Wood to keep the Dodgers off the board enough to keep this game under 7.
Yeah, let me add, I mean, 2 things I'm curious about. One is Alex Wood, the former Dodger. Does that help? Do you think does that give the Dodgers an advantage as far as game planning against him, having seen him, at the alternate site or spring training or whatever? And on the second hand, do you subscribe at all to the belief that scoring 19 runs yesterday has any impact on what the offense is going to do today?
I think the 19 runs yesterday could push more people to be betting the over, which, the Vegas isn't going to set the line higher, but if enough people bet on the over with that recency bias of yesterday, it could push the line up half a run. I don't think that's the case yet. I mean, maybe closer to game time, you might get some lighter juice on the under. And there is an advantage for the Dodgers having had Alex Wood on their team plenty over the last few years. But the players still have to go out and execute, right? Like Mookie Betts and Muncy, they might have the right scouting report because Mark Pryor can kind of break down what Wood's strengths and tendencies are. But the players have to still go out and execute. Another interesting wrinkle is Bauer has never faced the Giants. There's a handful of players on the Giants who have faced him, a few years ago, but he's never pitched it at Oracle Park, and that doesn't bode well for the Giants, many whom will be seeing him for the first time.
Yeah, I like it. Here's a couple props I'll throw at you. Alex Wood's over under strikeouts tonight is just 5.5. I like the over on that, maybe because I'm sort of PTSD after watching Merrill Kelly set a career high last night with 12 strikeouts against the Dodgers. But I just think when you look at the Dodger lineup, there's guys that could easily strike out against him. His strikeout numbers have been pretty good. That's probably right around where his average is. But I like the over on 5.5 strikeouts for Alex Wood. A few other props I'll throw at you. Dodgers 5-inning line is minus a half a run. So if you want the Dodgers leading after 5 innings, that's even money, which I think is an interesting one when you consider the advantage that you might have Bauer versus Wood. 5-inning line, the 5-inning under total is 3.5. It's minus 125, so the juice is there. But again, if you are worried about the Giants bullpen being the thing that screws up your under, you could get under 3.5 runs in the first 5 innings there. And the last one, this is not a non-Dodger homer one. Justin Turner under 1.5 total bases. It's minus 161, so that's a huge number. I acknowledge it. I'm guessing because they think, hey, Wood doesn't throw high velocity, which Turner has struggled with. Maybe that's good for him. But man, I look at Turner, he's struggling. For his last 17. He would have gone under 1.5 total bases in 8 of his last 9 appearances. So if you're willing to risk a little bit there, Justin Turner under 1.5 total bases at minus 161 is appealing to me. So anything in there that catches your eye?
Now, these are the total bases props I can get on board with. I love the under 1.5 total bases props in general. You need either an extra base hit or a multi-hit game to beat you. And Oracle Park, not a lot of base hits there. Not a lot of run scoring in that environment. Turner has been really scuffling, so that's a player I would like to key in on is a guy who hasn't been seeing the ball well. It's a lot of juice. It really is a lot of juice to swallow, and look, you're gonna get your money's worth on the sweat alone, right? Like he comes up 4 times every single time. You're just praying that he doesn't rip one down the line and grab a double. I think I can get on board with that. I like that play. I will point out the Giants bullpen. The best pieces were rested yesterday. They won by 15 runs. They didn't have to use
Fair.
McGee. They didn't have to use Tyler Rogers, who's an interesting pitcher to watch.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give up hard contact ever. He doesn't strike out really anyone, but he doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. So I think that Turner bet is pretty safe. I hope my saying that doesn't jinx it, but I can get on board with that one.
Yeah, and you make a good point about bullpen because the Dodgers used every piece in their bullpen with the exception of Edwin Uceda and Dennis Santana last night. So those are two guys that if those are kind of the first two guys to come into the game tonight, you're not going to feel super great. We know Kenley Jansen, 3 out of his last 4, so he's probably off limits. I would imagine Trinan is the best guy they have out there. Victor Gonzalez got 4 outs last night, so would they use him back-to-back? We'll see. So obviously the Dodgers are banking on 7 innings from Trevor Bauer. And if it's a close game, I would be a little bit worried about the total, only because if Dennis Santana or Edwin Uceda are guys that come into a close game, I wouldn't feel great about that. Looking ahead to the weekend matchups, Saturday, the Dodgers put Walker Buehler on the mound. The Giants have not announced a starter. Again, Logan Webb, I believe that was supposed to be his turn, but he's now on the injured list. Kevin Gossman, they just missed this weekend. He'll pitch Monday. The Dodgers will get to see him versus Kershaw a week from now. Urias versus Desclafini there on Sunday. That's a tough one for me to pronounce, so hopefully I didn't butcher it too bad. So some interesting matchups there. Some notes on just kind of matchup-wise. I mentioned that the Dodgers are one of the worst teams in baseball against left-handed pitching. They are one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching. They have the best weighted runs created in baseball against right-handed pitchers. The Dodgers are 10th against right-handed pitchers, so they're going to see all righties. The Giants will, whereas the Dodgers will see a righty at least on Sunday. DeSclafini's interesting. Again, he's like Wood. It's like a guy that, most people probably see the name and they're like, oh, fine, no problem there. Massive advantage for the Dodgers. 2.03 ERA, a whip of .92. He's had 9 starts, all under 3 earned runs, 6 with 1 or fewer earned runs, striking out a guy an inning. He is coming off a start in which he threw the most pitches he's thrown all season, just under 110, but I'm not sure how much that matters to a major league pitcher, on full normal rest. So obviously Saturday should be a big advantage for the Dodgers if the Giants have to call someone up or go to a bullpen game based on what their bullpen is. And then Sunday looks to be pretty evenly matched based on how Julio has been pitching of late.
Yeah, one of the bets I like for this series is actually, and this is, not all books will have this one, but the book that I use actually has series odds. So with this 3-game series and no likely rainouts, so you don't have to worry about any caveats of them only playing 2 games. But it has the Dodgers at -200 to win at least 2 out of 3, and the Giants at +170 to win at least 2 out of 3. I'm going to be on the Giants +170. They've got the best record in baseball. The Dodgers haven't been winning a ton of road games. I like those odds for the Giants to defend the home turf and win 2 out of 3. I think tonight, as good as Bauer is, this could go either way. I think the Giants could steal one tonight against Bauer. Obviously tomorrow you could probably pencil that one in as a Dodgers win. It's not going to be easy for whoever the Giants throw out there to beat Buehler. And then Sunday, I like DeSclafani over Urias. I really like the under on Sunday. I think both of those pitchers are outstanding, especially against these lineups. The Dodgers have been hitting well lately, but DeSclafani and Urias just both don't allow a lot of hits. They both have under 200 opponents' batting averages, and home runs really aren't a concern as much at Oracle Park. So I like the Giants to win at least 2 out of 3, and that's probably Friday, Sunday. So I'll be on that +170.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the records: 14-4 at home for the Giants, Dodgers 10-12 on the road. So I mean, even just from that perspective, it feels like you can get some advantage. Going back to the line for tonight, I mean, I kind of was like, I mean, the Giants money line is a pretty interesting bet. I'm not saying I'm betting it, but I just feel like it's probably a pretty even matchup, especially when you consider the home field advantage that clearly is impacting records. The Dodgers are a different team at home than they are on the road. The Dodgers are still not at full strength, et cetera, et cetera. So with the no bullpen. I think the money line tonight could be interesting. I'm with you. I think Saturday probably a big advantage for the Dodgers, and then Sunday is truly the rubber match, and you see what happens there. So I will not be touching the Giants series odds here. But I mean, I think Dodger fans were freaked out a week ago, and then we sweep the Diamondbacks, and everybody's like, "Kumbaya, things are perfect." Okay, it's the Diamondbacks. Let's remember that. Last night, for example, the Dodger offense did get 2 home runs, but literally that was about it. They didn't have an at-bat with a runner in scoring position until the 8th inning, and that was with 2 outs, and Justin Turner made nothing of it. So definitely some things to consider there as well. But that'll do it for our show today. The Dodgers versus the Giants again, 3-game set this weekend. 2 of the top 3 records in the National League. The Dodgers 2 games back in the division. So if they can sweep, they would potentially take the lead depending on what San Diego does. But at the very least, if they can keep things close, maybe take 2 out of 3, and inch closer as we head into a 4-game set 6 days from now, starting next Thursday, 4 games against the Giants. Those are in Dodger Stadium, so should be an advantage there. So, Rob, we appreciate you joining us as always. My name is Jeff Spiegel. As always, check out DodgerBlue.com, DodgerBlue1958 on social media. We'd love if you subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, as well as ring the notification bell. With that, Vin Scully to take us home.
The best team holding a trophy high in the air. The Los Angeles Dodgers, champions of the baseball world.